Huh? Now fire. Here we go, folks. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Namaste Experience here at Namaste Village. As you know, I am in Italy, and yet I'm still right here, right where I and we have always been, in the experience, not in some kind of an intellectual endeavor, trying to figure anything out. We have come to the point now where we have allowed the divine impulse to figure us out. And as it figures us out, we let go of all that armor we talked about yesterday. We let it fall off because we realize we need no protection from that which only loves. And so we're going to go a little bit deeper into that again today. I'm going to give another cone or another potent truth and let the other ladies take this or whichever direction you want to take. But before we do, let us begin with our opening affirmation prayer. Here we go. My soul has but one goal, to awaken to the truth that is forever true. My heart has but one desire, to remember the passion of infinite bliss. My mind has but one focus, to embrace the reality that is forever real. I choose to awaken now to the infinite love that is my source. I give everything to this love, just as it has given everything to me. I am awake now. So here's my question. How is everyone today?
Awake and
How
ready.
feels everyone today?
Awake and ready.
I know it's true. So, I just want to look really quickly at one line from here. I choose to awaken now to the infinite love that is my source. Is that really what you're choosing? Are you choosing to awaken now, this moment, not in the future, not one day, not after you've done whatever it is you think you need to do or listen to whatever teacher you think you need to listen to? That's gone. That has disappeared. That has dissolved the need to do anything. Now simply is the revelation of what has always been true, what has always been true within you. So yesterday we started with this phrase, you'll always do what you need to do when you allow yourself to be where you've always been. Really the question becomes, where have you always been? Now, I'll give the answer that I usually give. You've always been in heaven. You've always been exactly where you've been and created whole and perfect within the divine impulse of eternity. Those are just big words to say God. Sometimes God just doesn't do it. Sometimes we need something more to realize the impact and the divine weight of this experience that we're in. You've always been in heaven, in other words. Receive that, not just intellectually, but really take that in. And that'll set us up perfectly for today's cone or today's potent truth statement. It's impossible for you to be where you are not. We said yesterday that you need let go of what you need to do because then you can allow yourself to be where you've always been. Now we're taking that one step further. It's impossible for you to be where you are not. And yet you've tried. And yet that's been the whole focus of the perceptual mind, to be somewhere that it's impossible for you to be. In time? That's a tough one. It sure seems like you're in a body that each year gets a little bit older. Each year becomes a little bit more challenging. It certainly seems that you can be somewhere that you are not, or that you can be subject to time itself, to the ravages of time. What we're saying is that there is an experience of who you really are that is wholly beyond any of these limitations. If you would but receive, if you would but accept. Now, We've been circling around this for a very long time. Hopefully every time we circle around it, we go a little bit deeper, a little bit toward the center where there is no movement. That's where you will find you. That place where there is no movement, where there is that holy, whole experience of you. Just allow yourself to feel that now. Let me give that statement one more time before I turn it over to Sheila and Vicky. It's impossible for you to be, rather, it's impossible for you to not be where you are. It's impossible for you not to be in heaven. Did you hear that? It's impossible. Receive that now. Accept that now. Because it is the truth. I promise. So I'm going to turn it over. Thank you, everyone. It's so blessed. I feel so blessed to be able to join with you. Even though I'm on this journey, I'm right here with you every moment. I'll see you again tomorrow.
That was good, huh? Yeah. All right, good morning, everyone. Since we started with the Ho'oponopono idea yesterday, I'm just wondering, have you been practicing? You forgot, didn't ya? I'm just wondering if we can start the session by doing it together and then maybe ending the session again. Thank you, Scott, for that idea. So I know I said yesterday it doesn't really matter the order. However, let's do it in the order that it was originally, and that is to start with I'm sorry, and then please forgive me, and then thank you, I love you. So we'll say it together 3 times. Cool?
Could we have
No.
Could we have a choice of either doing it for ourselves, or if there is somebody that comes to mind that we want to initiate more healing in our hearts, that we can do that?
Do it for the other person?
Yeah, for somebody that comes to mind that.
Well, and when we do it for the other person, we certainly need to focus in our hearts and minds on that person. But it really starts in here, but certainly you have the option to do that. I mean, it's your Ho'oponopono. But that's a good point. We all have that option. So Scott's bringing that up, and it's a good point that we can remember to do that. For me, I'm going to start here. So, shall we do it? Yes. All right. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Together, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
What was the second version?
Okay, there's an original version that's really beautiful, but I don't have time to go over it today, but I'll look it up and I'll print it out and bring it to you. It's beautiful. Yeah. Would you like that? Okay, all right. Thank you, Jeff, for bringing that up. So, James mentioned it's impossible for you to not be where you are. And this week, Tim and I have been going, am I here? Am I in California? Because we're packing. Because next Tuesday, a week from today, we go back to California to empty out our house, rent it out, and bring our kitty back here. So we should be back here, we're hoping, around December 1st. But we found ourselves kind of feeling a little depressed. And we couldn't figure out what that's about because we're real excited about moving here. I mean, we love it here. And yet, there's this time in this house, I bought it in 2010, where it was a time, so it's more than just the house, but I think I and he were grieving the loss of the home. It's more than just the house. We realize now we don't need all that stuff we thought we needed in the States, but it's more than just the house. It's been a place of healing for both of us, me for many years by myself until Tim came into my life, but and I think about What was I thinking about? I was depressed. But I thought, that's okay. That's okay. So, I was depressed, but it was gone in a few hours, and I realized what was happening. And so I said, this is natural. It's a saying goodbye. It's a letting go of that time where it was like a sanctuary. It was like, what do you call a place that's like the place that you feel safe?
Sanctuary?
Sanctuary. But there are some other words that
Safe haven?
safe haven, refuge. Is that what you said, Bonnie? Yeah. Safer space, but a refuge, a haven. That house has been that, and I would often go down on the dock and meditate under the weeping willow tree, just watching the breeze, and that kind of thing. So it really was special. But I spent a lot of time, because I retired and I was there a lot of time alone. And you know what they say about before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And then Ram Dass comes along and says, chop wood, carry water is the experience, is the spiritual path. So there's the before, there's the after, and then Ram Dass says in the middle of the path is chop wood, carry water. So some of the time Tim would be at work and I would be there alone and I would be meditating and in my own space. And some of that time was fraught with not good feelings about my past relationship and feeling angry about that and hurt and all of that. And some of it was processing that. And I would tell myself, what's wrong with you? You need to be praying and meditating. And then I realized, don't beat yourself over the head here. This is part of the process too. You got to heal. And so, and then when I would have to stop meditating to do the laundry and clean the dishes and get dinner ready before Tim got home, I would go, I don't like doing this stuff. But then I realized he was out working, so I should be the one doing that, right? And so I didn't like the chopping wood and the carrying water. I wanted to meditate all the time and be quiet and heal and feel bad if I wanted to feel bad, and other times feel the God presence that was there so much in that house. And so it's just like, I think Ram Dass was right. Sometimes the chop wood, carry water, the keeping the house clean is the spiritual path. In our humanness, and that's what James said, we think we're in time, and on this human earthly dimension, we are in time. It's a 3D space, right? And so we live in that. And so, yeah, I needed to plan, get out the groceries, get out the meat to thaw, and I need to do that in time. But then when I was in meditation, when I found me was when I found the center of me, where there was no movement. And in Zen Buddhism, they say there's a need for committing to and thriving during the process in any pursuit. And I was totally in the process. I still am. We always are. And I want to say that it's not a destination where I will get there. It's not a journey. It's the process. It's the journey. In the middle of that. So, some of us were in this earthly experience and we think, I need quiet time. And we do. We do. We need time alone. We do need that. And some of us, like Eckhart Tolle, was on a park bench for 2 years in depression. And then he came out of it. And James Twyman, I heard it said that he was in his cave is that his little anchor hold cave for 6 months. And we have some of you here who are kind of in that space. And some monks go into a cave for long periods of time. And if you can do that, and if that's your thing, that's wonderful. It's like going into a wilderness. Jesus went into the wilderness for 40 days and nights. Part of me goes, the wilderness is all this confusion up in my head when I'm in my head. But there's another aspect to wilderness, and that is getting away from everything, all this earthly stuff, so that I can really be in the silence. And I know some of you here are really appreciating that, and you're there. But sometimes we don't always have that choice. So it doesn't have to be like that. It can be little moments under the weeping willow tree. Dave McMillan is going to do some wilderness excursions in December at winter solstice, and in March at fall, whatever, equinox. And he's going into the wilderness for 4 days and nights, and he's inviting us to go. Where's this at? I'll give you more information later. Okay. But talk about going into the wilderness. That's kind of scary for me, 4 days and nights, because he's talking about kind of rummaging for food. That's like, oh, fasting. I'm fasting. So there's something to be said for that. Yeah. So, but I don't know if that's for me, but sometimes I need lots of time alone. And Tim knows that. He needs lots of time alone, and so we do that for each other and for ourselves. Because I need that time alone to go into the silence and to find my center, to find me, to find God. Because when I find God in my center, I find myself. It seemed like I had a lot more to say, but I don't want to manufacture stuff just to be talking, yapping to hear my head rattle. So I'd like at this time to hear what Vicki has to say.
Good morning, Sheila.
Good
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I love when James takes us on a theme and we ride it and live it for the week. And thank you for doing the Ho'oponopono and your example. And I, as a sister, I want to tell you, all of us and many of us have been through these transitions of where our lessons were, where we learned to be free and at peace, and where we came into and out of relationships that helped us and set us free in one way or another. And we are joining you in that, Sheila. It is a moment. It's a mighty moment. I left a home of 42 years a couple of years ago. So I really, I understand the experience. But I would say, and I loved when you brought up Ram Dass, because right now, chop wood, carry water, wherever we are, between that and really listening to the prompt of our heart, whatever it is, it's if we get the prompt of our heart to not make dinner, not clean the house, or to do it, or not to do it, or to go into the wilderness, but wherever we are, if we're associating with what's around us, we're already in the wilderness. So it's good to recognize that. And in that now moment, I recognize I'm identifying with the room, the house, the place, my body around me. I want to at least be willing. The big Course word, that the gift of the Course in Miracles, one of them has, for me, been willingness. I don't have to get it. I have to be willing to get that. All right, right now, I want to be willing to see through these appearances. I want to be willing to listen to the prompt of my guide, my creator, the love of my life. I want to listen my own heart. It's the voice of love, whatever it is. I want to be willing to listen. And before you started, it brought me, when I was listening to James, brought me right back to The Wizard of Oz. Frank Baum, The Wizard of Oz was written as a story of awakening and clicking my heels 3 times. That's what the holy instant is. And that's what we can do, all of us. It's playful if we want to let it be. What's not playful and when we do get blue and sad, it's because we think we're losing something. We're letting go of something. And in the facts of what appearances look like we're letting go of a physical dimension, but not just the house we lived in. We're letting go of time and space. And what Ram Dass was saying, every moment here and now, we can let go of time and space. We can tune into the prompt of our heart, the voice of love of our Father. And when we tune in, and if it's nothing but get a cup of tea, if it's nothing but do a dance, sweep the floor, do it. Do it with willingness. And the willingness to follow whatever it is in the present moment now, and this goes back to James' first quote yesterday, brings us organically to what is exactly perfect for us in this moment, that will benefit not just ourselves, the entire sonship. We are learning that communication doesn't depend on a body vehicle to another body vehicle, but that when we are in the moment of our soul, or when we are resting in that moment, or when we're willing to, that's a big, big thing. Just being willing to, we no longer are engaging the other thoughts. That's what willingness does. Willingness puts us front and center in present moment, presence. Here I am now. I'm willing. That's enough. Imagine that. We don't have to have a revelation of being able to walk on the water. We just have to be willing to put all our attention here and now. Click our heels 3 times. That's simple. I really do want to go home. There's no place like home. There is no place like home. There's no place like home. And every other place that we think we've been in time, where our hearts have been blessed and full, it's because we were experiencing those moments of our real home. And our thinking mind identified it as a particular house in a particular place with particular people. And this here and now moment sets us free. It sets everybody free. It sets the whole sonship free. And it brings the essence, the heart that we were always in touch with. That's what we loved about where we ever were. It brings it into a present moment experience that floods us, inspires us to give and do what is ours to give and do. I don't want to do anything that's not given me to do. I want, whether it's a sweep a floor or make a bed, if it's not given me to do, I don't want to do it. I'm not living, just like you said, Sheila, no yakety yak for the same of yak. No making beds for the sake of making beds. No, nothing, no protocols other than be here now, willing to be in presence, willing to be home to our Father's love, willing to let that in, and willing to look around and see that it's already here. Even though I can't physically with my eyes see it, my heart knows it, and so do all of ours. We have not come this far together until we have known that that vibration, that frequency of heaven is truly within, so it is also without, because there's no separation. There isn't a here and a there. It's not distinct. That's why Ho'oponopono works. When I do it within myself, I center myself and release all the identity issues that I believed in, and I come home to the light that I am, then I hit that universal place where everyone is joined in that light, and where I recognize that as my only reality, and as an effect, everyone else's symptoms and stuff fall away. Not because I'm looking for them or praying for them, because I'm bringing myself home to the home experience of love and light here and now. And that umbrella of communication goes out by grace, however and wherever. So however And wherever we find ourselves, if we're identifying with our bodies or identifying our brothers as their bodies and places, that's okay. That's the lesson plan that we're in. Right now, we turn and we click our heels 3 times. There's no place like home. And it's so great to have a father that can't wait for us to come home, who's got the robes and the rings and the feast waiting for us. And then we become the ones that put robes on our brothers and sisters and bring the feast to the table. And oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Let me introduce you. My dearest little sister, and she is the little sister in my life for over 30 years. This is Carol and Mary Wonderful, 2 of my dearest sisters from our Step into Heaven call. We've been sisters for 8 years on a call, and Linda Flock and Mary Ann and bunches of guys that are here also in this room. But what a grace that they're here today. And maybe in another day or 2, Scott will be here. He's coming up to the East Coast to see his mom, and hopefully we'll see him here tomorrow. Anyway, click your heels 3 times. Here and now will give us everything. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry if the bed's not made, dinner's not on the table. Click your heel and say, I'm ready, show me. And be at home in the love of God. And that love, it brings all the direction any of us need. It'll get us right where we want to go, and it'll be a party. I promise you that. I love you all. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, everyone. I love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Did I give you time to do a Ho'oponopono and a Scott, maybe? Scott song?
Okay, I love the way you say sonship, Vicky. I'm clinging to that, and I'm gonna borrow it, but I'll give it back. I promise. So all the time I'm on the yellow brick road, I'm already there. Wow. So I like also what you said, listening to that divine wisdom. So shall we go ahead and do the Ho'oponopono 3 times again together? So remember, it's I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. All right, together. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Wait a minute, I just have to, I can't, need a minute. Right? You need a minute?
Time, sweetheart.
You don't say that without taking a minute to just take that in. And then as you're ready, we'll say our goodbyes for the day and have a great one, everyone.
May I sing a short
I
song?
love you all.
Love you.
See you tomorrow.